This is the Slow Wardrobe. Come and have a look. Hello, welcome to episode 92 of the Slow Wardrobe podcast. My name is Linda and I'm your host. In this episode, I'll give you a brief update on my knitting antics over the last 2 weeks. It's extremely busy still at the moment, so I try to squeeze in as much knitting time as possible, but it tends to be relatively late at night, so I'm not making very fast progress. Still, update as to where I got to so far, and that is followed by a very long section on Layercake, introducing and styling the 5 different colors of Summer Playsuit that are on pre-order at the moment until Monday the 22nd of May. So, without further ado, let's jump into the knitting. Right, well, as you may remember, I am working on the second version of the little cardigan that I knitted for myself earlier this year. I'm wearing it here open over the top of my blood orange playsuit, which is one of the colors that's on pre-order at the moment. And so this was the first one that I knitted. 3/4 length sleeves. They look a little bit fluted. They're just not decreased going down. I'm doing the same on the second sample. And this first sample was knitted in Malabrigo Finito in a random small number of colors that I managed to buy in a lovely yarn shop more than 6 years ago in the US, nearly 7 years ago. And when I moved my stash at the beginning of this year, I stumbled across this lovely little stash again and decided to come up with a stripy pattern in order to use the yarns in the quantities that I had bought them. And I added a very precious a hank and a half leftover yarn that I had, which was a Koigu yarn, Koigu Mori, which is a merino and silk blend that had the same running length as the Malabrigo and have that as a feature running through the center of the stripes. I then found out when I wanted to buy more of this yarn that it's been discontinued, and I did the same thing again. I bought a selection of different colors that I could get within the UK and ended up with these colors. Then swatched my heart out until I had a sequence and combination of colors that I knew was going to be enough to knit a second cardigan out of. And I've changed up the combination of stitches a little bit. These are pure stripes. These are stripes with one little section of color work in the middle of the colorful stripe. And that was purely through swatching, believing that it would be nice to break up that section of multicolored kind of speckled yarn. And it was a nice way to introduce the red color back in. I couldn't make the red color play such a significant role as I did in the first sample, because I have a lot less of it now. But by working it like this, it still features very nicely. So I did the same thing again with the neckline and did the little nubs, the little bobbles at the top in the contrasting color of red, because of course I was going to bring my red back in the color section in the form of little almost cherries, little round little baubles. So I did the same thing again at the bottom, and using the fact that it looks like I'm in the middle of a stripe to highlight the little baubles like they are here in the stripe in the middle. So I'm really pleased with how it's coming out. I've finished, as you can see, the body on it, and I'm almost finished the first sleeve. The sleeve is going to be slightly longer, still not full length on me, but slightly longer than they are on this cardigan, because I wanted to ensure that, of course, I finish kind of in the middle of one of those colorful stripes. So I either had to finish on the stripe above the one that I'm doing now, or on the one below, and that meant sleeve ever so slightly shorter or sleeve a little bit longer, and I went for longer. Of course, there's going to be different options when you knit your own to decide how long you make the sleeves, because I've already said it last time, this is going to be a knitting pattern that is suitable for knitting in my Yak Blend II yarn, which can be seen kind of above my head. And a lot of the existing Yak Blend II colours can literally just be substituted for the colours that you see here, because I've got some very similar ones. And there may be one or two where I will ask Sharon, who from 5 Moons Yarns, who dyes the Yak Blend II for me, to come up with a colourful multicolour that can feature very nicely in the lineup that I have for that second version. But I'm very likely to offer combinations, color combinations that either are more along these lines or go more along those lines. I'll work that out as and when I get there. At the moment still, I'm working on that second sample. That is then going to be tech edited. Then I'm going to have a sample knitted in the Yak Blend II to make sure that it works. It needs to be graded, of course. And then we're probably looking at some test knits. If I put a call for test knits out, then of course I'll do it here as well as in the newsletter. So watch this space in that respect. But for now, I'm very pleased with my progress. First sleeve nearly done, and then second sleeve on its way. So again, hopefully by the next podcast in 2 weeks' time, I will at least have finished that second sleeve, and maybe even steeked the cardigan, because that messy front that you see has got all the ends on the inside, because that's where I change color and that's where it's going to be steeked. So that works out really nicely. It's what I did here, and I used a beautiful ribbon from Textile Garden to finish my steek here on the inside before then adding the button bands. I'm going to do the same thing here. Again, I will use a beautiful ribbon, either one that I already have in stash or one that I'll find on the website from Textile Garden. I then hand sew that ribbon on, which I really like that idea better than doing anything else. I do it with blanket stitch, and I really think it's a beautiful way to finish it. And unlike the buttons here, where I did my made my own buttons, what are they called again? Dorset buttons. I made a set of Dorset buttons in that same Koigu yarn because I wanted to replicate the effect of little baubles. However, like I said, unlike with this, I'm not going to do that with this one. I think I've got so many baubles already in these horizontal lines along the top, along the sleeves, along the bottom. I then don't want another line of red baubles running vertically. Somehow I think that jars a little bit. So I'll cross that line when I get to it. At the moment though, there's still a sleeve to go with a bit, and then steeking it and knitting my button band. So maybe I will put it out to you if I get that far by the next podcast and ask for your opinion on it. So that's all for now with the knitting that I've been doing in the last couple of weeks. It's all I've had time for, and still keep going full speed ahead, full steam ahead, I should say, with the pre-order of the Playsuits, which is going to be running, well, it's running already, but it's going to be running until the 22nd of May. And that will be followed straight on by a pre-order of dusters. I'm talking about that more in the next section as well. But I want to make sure that the favorite garments for you all that you like to take on holiday with you, and I know the dusters and Playsuits feature high on those lists, are offered well in advance of summer holidays happening. Hence the timing for those pre-orders now in May. But more about that in the next section. That was all for my knitting this time, and I hope you enjoy Layercake. Time for some summer playsuits. I'm going to show you lots of combinations with the 5 colors of playsuits that we have on pre-order at the moment. And if you're watching this episode not in the pre-order period, no problem at all. It's just going to show you lots of different combinations of how to wear playsuits, combining them with other parts of the Layercake collection. I hope you enjoy it. And there is a little bit about sizing and length as well. As you may know, the playsuit comes in 4 different sizes, like our other Layercakes, and those sizes are based on bust circumference mainly. We try to shape everything in a way that if your bust fits, your hips are going to fit. So that means generous fit around the hips. And of course, you can see that very clearly in the playsuits, reflected in the playsuits. But there are also 3 different lengths. At the moment, I'm wearing the regular length, the medium length. That is sized in a way that for people who are of average height, which is in the 5'5", 5'6" range. So we're talking 1m65, 1m68, that kind of range. That playsuit, that regular length playsuit, will be full length on you. Because I'm 5'10", it is of a slightly cropped length on me. So if I would go to the long length playsuit, then that would be full length, and I'll show you those. If you are of average height and you want a cropped playsuit as well, then you can go down to the petite length, and that will be cropped on somebody who's around the 5'5", 5'6" height range. If you are below that height range, so you're more into the 5 foot to 5'2", then stick with the petite length playsuits. And the reason that we don't go to a shorter playsuit than that is that it would affect the proportions of the playsuit in a way that just would not look quite as good. I'm always really aware of matching both design and shape, as well as the way a fabric drapes, as well as the proportions on different bodies. And it just means that something like the playsuit, trying to crop that in somebody who has a height of 5'2" or below, it just wouldn't sit very well. It would look not right. Whereas the petite length still, in all its sizes, because of course we're talking about the width of sizes as well, the breadth of sizes I should say, the petite playsuit all the way up to a size 3 still looks really good in the petite length. So proportions is always my thing. I talk about it a lot in these playsuits. And one of those proportions goes back to what I'm wearing right now, because not only am I wearing a regular length playsuit in the charcoal stripe, which is the only striped one this year, but it's also a size 3 playsuit. And what you'll notice is that the depth of the armholes is really large on me as a result. And of course, I've got a lot of positive ease. It is wide on me because, strictly speaking, I don't need quite as much circumference. However, looks fine, feels great. Of course, I have to wear something underneath it, like a little cami top, or like I'm wearing now, a love top, a linen love top. But the point is that, like with all Layercakes, you can probably wear more than one size and they would all look good on you. And that's also a useful thing in mind when you have a fluctuating weight. I've said it in the past, my weight fluctuates from a size 1 Layercake almost up to a size 2 at the moment. With the width of my hips and my circumference, I'm just on the edge. I can still just about wear a size 1, but in the tulip dresses, for example, that means that I really need to go up to a size 2, otherwise it'll be too snug around the bust. So I'm size 1, size 2, and you know, I try to stay in that size 1 range, but if I spill over that, it's not a problem. It still looks fine, and I can go up from there if I want to with things like the Playsuit, and of course that goes for the tunics as well. So the charcoal Playsuit, I'm going to swap that love top on the outside, so then the Playsuit effectively turns into a pair of trousers, and I'll show you what that looks like in this charcoal stripe. Love top, love tunic I should say, worn over the top of the size 3 Playsuit, and this is a size 1 love tunic. Because of the dolman sleeves, the love tunics and the love tops and the love dresses are a little bit more generous around the bust area. So if the bust size is your restriction and you're right on the cusp, then you tend to be able to size down in those. That width, that extra give is intentional. It makes the love tunics and love tops and love dresses very easy to wear and to combine with other layer cakes. Sometimes we go over a bit, sometimes we go under a little bit, and it's all to slot it into the collection as well as we can. And that's where the love tunic fits in. So I think I've got a love top as well, just to show you the different in length. This is like the top third of my thigh in the front and then mid thigh in the back. So if you are shorter than that, you're really looking at mid thigh in the front and low thigh on the back for the love tunic. And I'm going to show you now what the difference is with a love top, so that you can see how that wears over the top of a Playsuit. But one of the main things to note here is that size Playsuit worn under a size 1 love tunic without any problems. So that's another thing. You can layer the sizes, and the biggest size does not have to be on the outside side, and that goes across the collection really. Love top in a size 1 still, in the natural undyed linen. There is 8 inches difference both in the front and in the back, in between length of a love top and a love tunic, and you can really see that back in the pockets. The love tunic covered about half of the pocket, and this is substantially above, about 3 or 4 inches above the edge of the pocket. And the top is about mid-tummy in my case. That again is on purpose, rather than kind of covering the tummy. We've gone right across the tummy, and by making this slightly flared shape, it means that it doesn't pinch you there. It just hangs very loosely on top of it, as you can see. The reason for that is that both the other garments that you wear with it, as well as the top itself, behave differently at this length. And I believe that especially if you have a tummy, that if you want to, yeah, well, everybody has a tummy, but if you have a tummy that you want to somehow take away the attention from, then go for a love tunic, or try one of these and see how this sits on where your tummy is. Because the other thing, of course, with me again is because I've got extra height, this comes up a little bit shorter on me than on most bodies, and on most bodies it just about covers your tummy. So, but the most important thing, it's not all about tummies, obviously. It's also about silhouette. And as you could see with the love tunic, because it's longer, it creates that kind of hourglass shape because of the way it's cut. But it also makes your legs look shorter depending on what you're wearing it with. Whereas if you like the idea of emphasizing the length of your legs, emphasizing the length of the bottom half of your body, then going for a shorter top creates that column effect at the bottom half. So that combined, if you then have a longer tunic and you wear cropped trousers, then of course that bottom section becomes even shorter, visually anyway. In reality, of course, it's the same length. But point made, with a shorter top like this, you elongate the visual effect of the bottom half of your body. So, love top and love tunic out of the way. Let's keep going with this lovely stripy Playsuit and I'll show it with a couple of different colors of smock to show you what a playsuit looks like under a smock, because of course it really veers in the direction then of baggies. Here we go. So starting off here with the very popular blood orange, which is also available in the playsuits, and of course I'm going to show you that later on. But I wanted to show you the effect of having a bright color like that on a dark stripe like this, and then the effect of having a light color top with it, because the light color top makes the blood orange smock less obvious. If I replace this light top, I will do that in a second, I'll put the black love tunic back on underneath the playsuit, underneath the smock, and then having that dark bottom and a dark top and then the smock over the top, that really gives like a very dark backdrop, a very dark canvas to show off the bright color of the blood orange tunic. So if you don't want the blood orange to just be the main player in your whole outfit, and you want to play it down a little bit, going with a top that is closer to color in the color wheel to the smock, to the color of the smock. And I'm not really talking about same kind of color family, but the kind of intensity and impact. It'll take away from the shining that the blood orange will do on its own. Maybe rather than trying to explain it, I'll just show it to you. So here comes the black love tunic back. See what I mean? The blood orange really pings against the dark of both the love tunic and the playsuit, and you can see now the playsuit is just looking like a pair of trousers with the rest of my outfit. Of course, when it comes to warmer summers and higher temperatures, I can then lose the love tunic and just wear a smock over the top of the playsuit. And with the low armholes that the smock still has, like I said, the dresses are a bit higher in that respect. I would still wear just a little vest top underneath, but I live in my playsuits when it gets warm. I love wearing them that way. So I'm going to show you a darker color as well. Fig, one of our really, really popular colors at the moment, showing you that against this dark backdrop. And that tones, of course, everything down, but Fig is a color that goes really well with colors like the dark gray charcoal as well as the black. So here it comes. So not quite as summery as what we were looking at before, but of course you can summer this up quite easily by wearing a lighter colored top, even if the rest of the outfit remains the same. I'll show you. What a difference, isn't it? So back in the natural love top with the Fig smock, and then the charcoal playsuit. Of course, the smock picking up of the black in the playsuit, and the natural top picking up in the lighter stripes of the playsuit. So it really pulls the whole outfit together, and it lightens the dark color that Fig is. Compared to Dark Moth, which was a cross weave with black, Fig is a cross weave with dark gray, and that kind of softens the colors. We've done the same with what's it called, Dark Teal, which also used to be a cross weave with black, and that will be coming in a cross weave with dark gray as well. So again, a slight softening. Not today, but it's coming later on in the year. So a slight softening of those colors, which makes them even more versatile than they already were, and still suitable for the summer and winter seasons in terms of your color palette, but it makes them a bit more accessible for those who have to wear their colors slightly toned down and slightly softer. So it broadens their appeal, if anything. What I want to show you next is the next color of playsuits, because of got a Playsuit that has a really interesting color that also looks amazing against fig. I'll show you. This is Spring Greens. And what do you think of this against the fig? I think it's a match made in heaven. Spring Greens is made out of a light kind of duck egg blue cross woven with chartreuse. So it makes for a proper, almost celery-like spring green, like I said, and the color just shimmers when you see it in real life. The contrast of the two colors that it's cross woven out of is really super, super fresh and light and very vibrant without being loud. That's what I pride myself on, that the most vibrant colors in the Layercake collection still are never loud. They're still alive, they're still vibrant, but they have a depth to them rather than just purely, super, super brightness. So I will take this smock off, and I'm still wearing the love top, but I've put the love top underneath the Playsuit so that you can see that spring green full length on me. If I manage to get the smock out of the way. Here we go. So this is a size 2 Playsuit in the regular length, so slightly cropped on me. Wonderful kind of size and proportions for me for summer, really. Not too warm, and because it's so roomy, and if I get warm still, all you have to do is unzip. It's a great tip for all you Layercake wearers. If you're not aware of that, when you get too warm in your Playsuit, unzip, and that waftiness, that air can flow around your legs, and that cools you down really quickly. So, what do we think? I think I have to show you what it looks like worn with chartreuse. But first, a color that is just a little bit darker than that duck egg, and again goes really well. It's like a softness to it. Again, bright but soft. That is a bit of a marriage made in heaven, I think. Let me show you what I'm talking about. A marriage made in heaven? Oh dear. I think I've had a match made in heaven. Oh my goodness. After living in the UK for more than half my life, I think I just met that midway point last year at some point. I still get my sayings wrong. I still also have the tendency to translate Dutch sayings into English and then blurt them out with people saying, what? Because of course they don't exist in English. Never mind. I keep trying. So here is Teal Sky tabard in a size 2, worn over the top of my Spring Greens Playsuit in combination with my natural love top. I think that Teal Sky together with Spring Greens is such a beautiful combination of spring colors, because Teal Sky is bright, but it's quite light at the same time. And that together with the Spring Greens, again, I think they go really well. So what I was promising though was to show you some chartreuse with the Spring Greens. So here it comes. So here's the Spring Greens together with chartreuse. This is my own chartreuse love dress. Washed and worn loads, so it looks well lived in. And I love the way that our linens take on this slightly, almost kind of puckered look when they've been worn and washed loads. This is still looking very pristine, of course, at the moment, but they look great together. And you can see that the Spring Greens has got chartreuse in it. They look really nice together. Very fresh, very spring-like, but of course that does not mean that you can't wear them with darker colors. So I'm going to grab a darker color and throw that over the top to see what that looks like. But before I do that, I just wanted to point out that this is a regular length love dress, and I'm wearing that with a regular length Playsuit. And we have coordinated the length and the fit of those such that you can wear a regular length dress underneath a playsuit, still do up the zip of the playsuit, and the two don't fight with each other. So the length of the dress does not interfere with the zip of the playsuit, and it all kind of sits and flows nicely. Of course, it's on purpose, is so that we can layer cake to our heart's content. So let me grab a darker top to throw on with the rest of this outfit. A wrap dress in the magpie stripe, worn together with the rest of the chartreuse and spring greens outfit. Of course, they go beautifully. We already knew that magpie and chartreuse are quite special together, but here you can see that magpie and magpie stripe, in this case, together with spring greens, also make a wonderful combination. The blue that is in magpie has a green hint to it, and that makes it go so well with both the blue spectrum as well as the green and more yellow greens. But here it is, so whether you've got a wrap dress or baggies, for example, or a duster in the magpie stripe, or anything in the magpie part of the collection, whether it's a dress or just a plain magpie rather than the stripe, they go beautifully with the spring greens. So on to our next color, and that magpie link is a nice step into it because it has a magpie woven into the fabric. Here it comes. Meet Rivulet. New color, a cross weave of that duck egg blue that's also in spring greens, but now woven with the greenish dark inky blue that is in magpie and magpie stripe, and you can recognize that here. So as a result, Rivulet is a really difficult color to photograph because depending on what the light is like, either it picks up, the picture either picks up the light color of the duck egg or the darker color of the blue. So as a color to combine in your wardrobe, it is wonderful because it goes with so many different things, because it can go really dark and really light. As you can see it here, it tones beautifully with the magpie stripe of my wrap dress. But if I go into the lighter direction, then it'll start picking up on that lighter duck egg. So wonderful color, and I'll show you it combined with one of our other colors, new colors that we just introduced recently with the smocks and tabards, called Deep Sea. And just to show you what a darker teal looks like against this color and how they play together, because they look great. Here it comes. So here's Deep Sea, that really dark, rich teal color that you may or may not have seen yet on the website or already in your wardrobe. Thank you for all who have ordered it. And how it goes with Rivulet. As you can see from a distance, the Rivulet is slightly lighter, but not quite as much lighter as you might expect seen from the pictures on the website. On the photographs on the website, Rivulet and Spring Greens both look almost as light as each other, whereas Rivulet really is darker. So I will keep trying to take better photographs, but it's a bit of a challenge. So here you can see how these two go together. And of course I can pick up on the dark blue in Rivulet by adding a darker blue top, kind of pulling the whole outfit together and echoing that the dark blue in the cross weave. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So kept the smock on, but I've put one of the navy anytime tops on underneath the playsuit to show you how Rivulet plays with the dark navy color, which I think is really nice. Like I said, you know, the dark navy really picks up the dark color of the blue in Rivulet. So I've pulled up my sleeves because of course I'm melting with these layers on. because I've put another garment underneath that I wanted to show you to explain about the versatility of the Playsuits, especially the Summer Playsuits, with the rest of the Layercake collection. Because what you can do with one of the Playsuits, any of them, not just the summer ones, but of course with the summer ones, they may be, in whatever climate you live, they may be too cold to wear year round, and you'll need an extra layer underneath. Now, of course, one way to achieve that is to wear a dress underneath, or tights, for example, or leggings. But one of the other great combinations to wear underneath a Playsuit is the Layercake cocoons. So I'm wearing an anytime top, as well as some of the cocoon baggies, also in navy. So this outfit then becomes one of those outfits where you're at home, you're in your Layercake cocoon, you need to go out, all you do is throw over the Playsuit and you're ready to go. Of course, you zip up, but it just makes a wonderful complete outfit without having to get changed out of your lounge wear. You can just keep wearing that, throw a Layercake over the top, be it a Playsuit or a dress, for example, and you're good to go. But the main point here was to show you how beautifully navy, and a dark navy especially, plays with rivulet as a color. So I'll keep moving along and introduce the next color of Playsuit. Here it comes. This is the Playsuit in the natural undyed linen. It's slightly lighter than a brand new one because this is my own and I've been wearing it for months already. And of course it's been washed loads. So the effect of that is visible in the natural linen. That tends to go slightly lighter with lots of washing. And there, sometimes, not always, but sometimes the natural linen has a slight yellowness to it, and it seems to be losing that as it gets washed more. So I don't know exactly what that is and what causes it, but just to let you know. So this is the full length Playsuit on me, and I've changed the anytime top that I was wearing in the navy into an anytime top in grey. This is a size 3 anytime top, and it's a size 1 Playsuit. And again, you can play with those sizes. Of course, with those bigger armholes, that ensures that whatever you wear underneath doesn't get too bunched up, and they go fine together. The reason that I put this on is to show you that although this is called natural and that's called grey, they are almost the same color and they look wonderful together. So same goes for natural and mist, which is one of the new colors that we just introduced in the smocks and tabards. So I'm going to grab the grey mist tabard that I still have and throw that on over the top to show you what a lovely combination that makes. When you see this outfit for real, it almost looks like the mist is a cross weave between the natural that's in the Playsuit and the grey that's in the top, in the cocoon top. And reality is not far off. This color mist is a cross weave of the undyed, indeed, it's definitely in there, but it's cross woven with this grey, the darker grey that we use to make charcoal, for example. A charcoal is grey and black, and it's this grey and black. And the grey that is in fig, for example, is the same as this grey. So the two of them together, it's a really nice combination, and you just have it's not a big difference visually from a distance, but from up close you get the texture and the color variation that's in this cross weave. You see that very closely against the more flat color of the natural linen. These kind of subtle differences are really my jam. I love this kind of stuff. So wonderful light and a very neutral combination, but like we did before, of course you can use a light combination like this top and this playsuit as a backdrop of something very bright. So let me grab one. Here is cerulean, one of our summer colors in the tulip dresses, and still available. I still have some stock of cerulean. Beautiful bright blue. Actually, I'll grab the teal sky so that you can see how those two compare. But here it is, cerulean against the backdrop of these very neutral colors of the grey cocoon and the natural undyed playsuit. Let me grab the teal sky. In fact, I can throw it over the top of this. In terms of sizing, this is a size 3 tulip dress, so nice and loose on me, but as you can see, not a problem to size up at all. It's just a matter of the armholes, of course, being slightly lower because the dress can accommodate a much bigger bust. But apart from that, the linen just kind of flows and kind of follows your shape. So if you like looser fits, then just size up, and in most cases you'll be fine. If you're in doubt, give me a shout and I'll always try to help you out. Excuse the rhyming. Oh dear, where did that come from? Right, teal sky tabard, here we go. So here it is. Teal sky tabard in a size 2 over a tulip dress in a size 3. Cerulean and teal sky against each other. So you can see that they definitely have a color in common. They've got that really, really bright blue in common. But of course then teal sky cross-woven with a lighter color, and as a result, beautiful combination, but two different blues, and the teal sky definitely a little bit more restrained than the super bright cerulean. So almost there, one more color to go. And of course I already told you that's going to be blood orange. So let me grab the blood orange playsuit and finish off this playsuit parade for today. And there we have it finally. Last but not least, blood orange playsuit. We can't get more cheerful than this, can we? This is a size 1 in the long length, so full length on me. And if I turn around, as you can see, I can only just about get away with this. It's not that I don't have enough positive ease, there's still plenty of fabric, but with the more fitted bust circumference coming from here, and then the size that my hips are right now at this weight, to my liking, this is sticking out a little bit too much. I would be better off already in a size 2 playsuit, which would be more, of course, we have a lot more positive ease around the bust, but as a result, of course, it then has more positive ease all the way down, and it would skim my hips more rather than hug them. I mean, at this size and this kind of weight, the linen will start to kind of sit on my hips, which then really emphasizes their size. And if I go just a little bit bigger, then it all skims a little bit more. I hope that makes sense. And I hope you don't mind this expose about lumps and bumps that I carry around with me. The other way to make this all flow a little bit more is to grab a smock, and that could be in the same color as the playsuit, which doesn't change the silhouette. It just adds that really interesting kind of curve to it. But if I take that smock a size bigger than my playsuit, then the whole description that I just gave of what I don't like when I wear this by itself, looking at my own back, will go away. I'll show you. So this is what I mean in terms of the silhouette is still there, that kind of long column of blood orange that is created by the playsuit and not really interrupted by the smock, But there's this extra shaping that has appeared because of the line and the points of the smock down the side. Of course, I could create something similar with a tabard in the same color with the point down the front and back. But the point is made that I just find this kind of same color throughout. So whether those are baggies and a smock, or a playsuit and a smock or tabard, that all one color all throughout, I think it always looks so sophisticated. It looks so dressy somehow. Anyway, the other point I wanted to make is see what now happens with that extra width that size 2 smock gives me, and the way that that now hangs off me and doesn't emphasize my hips in the way that the size 1 playsuit does. I hope that is clear what I mean. The main thing that I want to get across is, if you want to wear more forgiving clothes, then don't be worried about sizing up. And it's not like, oh, well, with a bigger size, I admit to myself that I'm bigger. No, with a bigger size, you're just going to be more comfortable. That's the end of it. Because, of course, I can sit down with this and just spread out the way my body wants to spread out without having to sit up straight and hold things in and whatever, and just be comfortable in my own body. And when you're comfortable, more comfortable in your body, you can appreciate it more, because it is the most important tool you have and you'll ever have. So I can then go on a tangent about taking care of it, but it starts with appreciating it. And I definitely appreciate my body more when I dress it in a way that pleases me when I look in the mirror. And that is not just about, hiding under layers of fabric. It's creating a silhouette that I like and that I'm comfortable with, and it makes me feel confident about kind of going out in the world, if you like. So, sudden soapbox moment. I never know where they come from. I never know when they come. I apologize if I'm boring you to shreds. And I'm going to grab one more garment to throw over this outfit, and kind of just lift the tip of the corner of the next pre-order that's round the corner, just to make you aware of what's coming next and how that plays with the existing pre-order of the Playsuits. So here we go. So here is a duster in the large bright check. Now what's different about this duster is that it's not a short duster, it's not a long duster, it's an in-between length. It's an in-between length that we are introducing this summer, and it's going to be a pre-order right after the pre-order of the Playsuits closes. And I'm showing it to you now because the newsletter in which I announce the colors that are available to order as part of our summer duster event is going out next week, Friday. So that will be Friday, the 19th of May. At that point, the pre-order of the Playsuits is still running, because that runs until the end of Monday the 22nd. But on that Friday the 19th, I launched the pre-order for the summer dusters, and that will give people who want to an opportunity to coordinate their summer playsuit with their summer duster color. So if that means that before then you order a summer playsuit, and once you've seen the summer dusters, you actually want to change the color of the summer playsuit, not a problem. Just give me a shout and I can do that. But the most important thing is that there'll be that new length of duster. The short ones, the long ones are still there as well, but there's going to be this new medium length. The other thing that we're going to do with the dusters is add some ties to them, just one set of ties in the front, which means that if you like wearing them in the summer as a throw over, coming back from the pool or the sea, for example, you'll have some ties to close them in the front and wear it effectively as a dress over a swimsuit or what have you, or any other outfit, but you'll be able to close your duster and keep it closed without having to use pins or anything like that. So I haven't shown you a lot of color combinations with the blood orange. There are one or two that I do want to show you, but I need to rummage for those because what I had selected I've kind of already shown. What I like doing with colors is to surprise you with colors that go really well with it. So let me grab one or two and then we'll finish off. Okay, number one, I've actually thrown it on over the top of the smock that I had on already, because it's another thing that I love playing with. Smock and tabard on top of each other. So this is our red cross weave, and it has been one of our most popular colors for years. And I therefore really wanted to show you what that does when worn with blood orange. Again, wonderful combination. I always keep saying, you know, don't worry about throwing different colors from the Layercake collection together, because I make sure that they go together so that you don't have to worry about that. However, of course, I still love showing them off to ensure you that that is definitely the case. I can, of course, add tops to this. The raspberry cocoon love top is a wonderful combination. It picks up on the red in the smock, but it can also be worn by itself with the blood orange. In fact, if I can find one, I'll show you now. So, raspberry love top, I think it's a size 2 or size 3 even. I didn't even check. It's one of the bigger sizes, worn over the top of my Playsuit and then under the smock. In fact, I can take the smock off to show you the top worn over the top of the Playsuit. But the main thing that I wanted to emphasize is that the raspberry color, because it's a slightly pinkish red, is a lovely combination with the pink that is in blood orange. One more to go, another really popular color that many of you may have already in your wardrobe. So I want to show you how that goes against the blood orange, and that is the small check. Here it comes. And here it is. I kept this top on purpose because if you would look square for square at the small check and find this exact color in them, you probably wouldn't find it. Same goes for the blood orange. If you would go square for square, you may come close-ish in a couple of cases, but when you look up close, then those colors really aren't the same. However, look at it. They go beautifully together. Even though the exact colors aren't in there, I've said it so often to people, there are so many colors in the small check. That goes for most of our checks, really. All of our checks at the moment. There are so many colors in the check, in the small check, that you can, it's almost a neutral again. You can wear it with virtually anything. And this, I think, is a really nice demonstration of that. There are so many orangey, pinky, rusty, reddish hues in different sections of this smock that it picks up enough of the colors that are in the top and the Playsuit that I'm wearing it with. So, if you were wondering, does blood orange go with the small check? Yes is the answer. They're a really nice and unexpected and fresh combination, because the freshness of the blood orange, of course, freshens up the color of your small check garment that you wear, Layercake that you wear with it. So, enough is enough. You've seen loads. Thank you for sticking this out, but with 5 different color Playsuits. Of course, there was so much to show you, and I always have new ideas for new combinations. So thank you for sticking with me throughout all this, and I see you again soon.